Good morning to the European participants and good afternoon to our colleagues and partners in India. A very warm welcome to this info session that is designed and prepared to give as much as possible information for the preparation for the forthcoming matchmaking event in India. Before starting, I would like to introduce you the housekeeping rules. The webinar is scheduled to last for 1 hour. It will be recorded and afterwards published on the European Cluster Collaboration Platform together with all materials that we'll be sharing during the webinar. All participants are in listening mode, and please, in order to ask questions or you want to make some comments, use the chat box or the Q&A box. We will progress with the agenda of the webinar, which is we will start with the opening session. We will hear from the DG Grow from the European Commission, as well as from our partners in India, GBI. Then there is a session on market access information, the regional approach. We will hear the presentation, a brief presentation of the input paper, as well as from colleagues and partners from Invest India. Also, there is a dedicated session on the IP SME help desk. Also, presentation from the RE Expo, which is the anchor expo for this mission. And we will finish with the next steps towards the matchmaking event. Without further delay, we will proceed with the opening remarks. And I would like to give the floor to Christophe Guichard, the policy officer from the DG Grow, the European Commission. Christophe, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Theodora, and good morning, everyone. I'm Christophe Guichard from the cluster unit of DG Grow of the European Commission, and I'm very pleased to address this session with short opening remarks. Our event this morning shall give you some background information to help you to prepare for our upcoming matchmaking event with India. And this ECCP event will actually be held for the second edition in India. So I'm really pleased to welcome all of you from across Europe to participate to this second edition, focusing this time on renewable and clean energy solutions. And we have today a well-balanced delegation from across Europe. It includes 16 delegates with representatives from clusters and companies from 9 European countries. And this session this morning will give you some guidance on how to do business and collaborate with India. It will also give you some general overview on trade trends opportunities and how to deal with IPR issues in the Indian market. You will receive also practical information on your participation in the Renewable Energy India Expo and the different site visits planned to take advantage of all possible collaboration opportunities in India. I would like to thank all our counterparts for working together to make this matchmaking event a success. It includes Global Business Inroads, acting also as an EN international network partner, Invest India, the India IP SME desk, and of course, the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. So as you can see, this is really a great teamwork effort. The main objective for this event is to help European and Indian clusters and companies to create new trade and investment links and business partnerships. I want to stress that the European Commission is keen to be a facilitator of this process. And last Wednesday, on 17th of September, the Commission published a joint communication on a new strategic EU-India agenda to deepen our cooperation. So this is actually coming at the right time. The EU is the largest trader and one of the most open economies in the world, and the EU is India's largest trading partner in goods. So this matchmaking event will contribute to this objective and intends to provide increased market access for our businesses and to make sure that our companies can benefit successfully from the trade and cooperation opportunities with Indian partners. Now, to come back on our event, we have prepared a very dense program with matchmaking sessions, informal business reception, participation at the expo, and various interesting site visits. So I strongly encourage you to take all these opportunities to network and matchmake with Indian partners during this mission. Thank you very much, and I wish you all successful meetings in India.
Thank you very much, Christoph, for these words and the overview. And I'm joining you in thanking to our partners. It has been a great pleasure working with GBI. For now, it's 2 consecutive years, and having all the partners here today on board that are dedicating a serious time to prepare every detail in the program, but also to create a long-lasting collaboration and opportunities for the European clusters and SMEs, and as respectively partners for the counterpart organizations in India. Shraddha, the floor is yours, and thank you in advance for the great collaboration.
Many, many thanks, Theodora, Christoph, for having us here. Good morning, everyone. I am Shraddha, Technology and Innovation Manager from GBI. On behalf of Global Business Inroads and International Network Partner of the Enterprise Europe Network in India, I'm very delighted to welcome you all to this info webinar for the upcoming EU-India Matchmaking Event 2025, scheduled in Delhi from 29th to 31st of October. We are very happy to partner with ECCP, an initiative of the European Commission, for this event within the framework of the REI Expo. As Theodora mentioned, we have also collaborated with ECCP last year, where we facilitated a similar kind of EU-India matchmaking event, and we brought 13 industrial clusters from EU, from various sectors of IT, digital, life sciences, advanced manufacturing, and green tech, who participated in this mission during Bangalore Tech Summit. Now, I would like to share briefly about Global Business Inroads and how we help our international governments and companies. So we are a 16-year-old organization. We are an international business, technology, innovation management consultancy, and we specialize in scaling tech access and deployment for UN SDGs. We are based in India, US, UK, USA, and we have our operations in Southeast Asia and Africa. We have worked with various governments, including EU Commission, US, UK, Northern Ireland, and Indian government on a wide range of projects. So these include, organizing trade and business missions for them, trade show exhibitions here in India, delegation visits, deploying pilot projects, facilitating B2B meetings with potential partners, market research, investor connections, organizing physical virtual webinars, and also capacity building sessions on doing business in India, IP, etc. So not only, we help the government entities, but we also provide market entry support for private sector companies who are seeking India or EU market development services. We work as an extension of their team to help these innovative companies in a very customized manner. So for the upcoming EU-India Matchmaking Event 2025, we look forward to facilitating knowledge and business partnerships, investment opportunities, knowledge and skill exchange, and collaborations between you and the Indian clusters, SMEs, and key stakeholders in various areas of renewable energy and storage, clean energy solutions, electric mobility, smart grids, and green finance. We are very happy to support this initiative, and we want to facilitate connections and meetings on the ground in India, curate site visits, and ensure that the visiting EU delegation can meaningfully engage with the Indian ecosystem. So during your visit to India, you will have opportunities to engage with the Indian industry associations, government bodies, and innovative companies through curated B2B meetings, which we organize, REI Expo booth visits. Then you'll have meetings with the exhibitors, CEO conclaves, networking dinners, and other activities. And we are also organizing potential site visits to some of the renowned industry associations and research institutions in India, namely CII, Confederation of Indian Industry, India Smart Grid Forum, NTPC, the research wing of NTPC, that is NETRA, National Energy Technology Research Alliance, and TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute of India. So thank you, and I wish you all a very productive session ahead, and we look forward to welcoming you here in India, in Delhi, and meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Shraddha, and for the European participants that are part of the delegation, it is good to know that GBI is the main partner that is currently having your profiles, is looking for the most appropriate local counterparts for the matchmaking session. Also, it's facilitating, as just Radka said, the site visits. These are elements that we are looking already very close. We will be having a series of meetings during already the next week in order to be able to update you with a more detailed program where you can already see the different elements across the 3 days. Thank you once again, Shraddha. And we now continue with the next session, which is the market access information session. We will hear about the regional approach, starting with the presentation of the input paper. So our colleagues from Prognost as part of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform Consortium last year for the event already prepared an input paper. This is now updated, will be shared with you participants before the event as part as well of the info pack, but here you will hear the summarized part of this input paper. And with that, Jan-Philipp, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Very delighted to be here. Good afternoon to the colleagues in India, and good morning to all of you from the EU. Indeed, it's about market access information. And if we look at the history of India in the past decades, I think you all know that there has been tremendous development, and this is also reflected in how EU and India relationships have been developing. So to just give you a few of these updates and insights to contextualize the picture, we can look at the economic profile just very broadly. If you look at the growth over the last few decades, you see an average growth rate of 6%, which is quite remarkable. So one of the fastest growing economies. And this dynamic is also reflected then, of course, in how the GDP development has been seen over the years, which is almost or even beyond 3 trillion euros nowadays. And this is quite significant, obviously, to have this development over 3 decades. And we all know, of course, about some of the profiles. We know that India has been traditionally very strong in developing its IT industry. So there's a lot of services industry that can be a great driver of this and is a great driver of this development. But we also see that there are other parts of the economy which are quite complementary to the European industrial base. Sorry, not so fast. In the context of the manufacturing, for instance, which gives a lot of opportunities also for interrelations with the European counterparts. So, and this is also reflected, and now we can move to the export structure in the overarching export. Please to the next slide now. So as you can see here, this the picture I described in the GVA share of the economy is also visible in the export structure, where services are at more than 45%. ICT is around 30% of that, so really a key area. But we also have quite significant exports in the minerals area and chemicals. Also very important, of course, in the diversification of our European importing structure, but also increasingly in the field of industrial products, in the fields of machinery, metals, vehicles, electronics, and of course also textiles. So this is all, I think, quite important also for the cluster managers in light of the target sectors. And we come to the cluster landscape in just a minute, which will also give us a good picture on how this is matching. But if we move to the next slide now, I will break it down a bit deeper. We always look at these import-export structures and also the underlying value chains in this regard. When doing so, and just looking at the top partners, we're talking about a trade volume of over 120 billion. It is driven by around 74 billion of imports that EU 27 member states do from India. And you can see that this is largely driven by Germany, France, Italy, the Netherlands. But on rank 5th, there's already Slovenia, which is quite interesting in the importing structures. And then on the exporting side, the picture is a little bit different, where we have a greater concentration, and Germany, France making 50% of EU exports to India at the moment, and then followed by Italy, which also has over 5 billion of export volume. And of course, these aggregate pictures are also then engraved in the value chains of the European economy and also the Indian economy, which is quite relevant to have as a background. I don't want to go too deeply into the import and export structure, but I think it's also important to see that some of the changes in the past decades of the industrial structures are also reflected here. So importing sides, of course, we know that India has been traditionally very important also for the pharmaceutical industry. So we have a lot of interaction there and also a lot of imports, but also in other parts of the automotive industry with motor vehicle parts, which make a very important element here. And on the export side, we also have as a top sectors the aviation and aeroplane industry from the European side, machinery, also motor vehicles, of course, traditionally. So you can see that it is a quite multifaceted picture, but also one that is speaking of higher value added in this regard. And last note on this slide, trade and services. I mentioned before, I think it's clear in the structure of the economies, it's very important. And the EU imported roughly 30 billion of services. Trade and services is also key, and this is mostly business and ICT services. And you know all about the upcoming or quite stable trend of business support services being supported from India, and then 21 billion of exporting to India also in services. So it's not just trade in goods, it's also trade in services, and this is the key messages from this slide. Now you already got a quick glimpse on the cluster landscape, which is quite comprehensive, and you can have a deeper look at the map also when looking at partnering regions. Overall, we try to bring together the most important information when it comes to major clusters, so also the core industrial clusters that are operating in India. Then you have minor and micro clusters, and they're over 5,000. So no way we could put them on a map and make it visible here. So that is just a snapshot of this. And then the last element on the slide are special economic zones, which have been implemented through the Special Economic Zones Act in 2005, which of course are also interesting for investment and partnering opportunities. And there are more than 370 notified as of June 25. And the core message beyond just this large scale, I think, first of all, you find a lot of strong partners. Second of all, the economic fabric that I have presented before in some of the more traditional sectors, chemicals, automobile, pharmaceuticals, is also reflected in the cluster structures. but we also see a growing presence in the field of ICT. If you look at Pune, for instance, engineering and business services. So there's plenty of opportunity also for building bridges among the different cluster ecosystems. Now, coming to the policy side quickly, I think the emphasis in India has been increasing. That's our outside view from our analysis. So the cluster policy support for portfolio has been growing. The Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises is operating a set of these programs. The core program is the MSE CDP, so Micro and Small Enterprises Cluster Development Program. That's in the center of the pyramid that we have put there, which is really looking at clusters as a driver, and therefore also granting finance to these facilities. Then you have the scheme for fund for regeneration of traditional industries, so also looking at the transformation of industries. And thirdly, a smaller, more testing oriented scheme, which is looking at providing lab infrastructure that's also helping to benefit from agglomeration, basically. And given time constraints, I will only look at the linkages now. As you know, there are many ways to connect, and the European Business and Technology Center is an institution that has been put up a while ago in order to support also within the European Enterprise Network. And to also help European businesses to connect. And they have focused on 3 areas: transport, aviation, and sports, which is quite relevant, I think, also for some of you. And green aviation, for instance, is part of that, and sustainable mobility thematically. Now, I wanted to note also 2 major or interesting and relevant projects on the next slide. As some of you know, at least from the European delegation, the Euroclusters are the main vehicle, or one of the main vehicles for cluster support within the current MFF. And there are 2 Euroclusters that have been looking at India more specifically. One is the Elbe Eurocluster, and the other one is PolRec on polymer recycling. And it's, I think, also a good connecting point to the initiative that is upcoming, given that Elbe is really looking at blue energy, so really focusing on energy renewable industry ecosystems, and looking also specifically at India as a partner in the field of the offshore wind development. So maybe colleagues are here in the call. And the polymer recycling also looks at the environmental side of the polymer industry, also at boosting raw materials for the European strategic autonomy, where India has been identified as a target market, and dialogues are starting. So we already see, and that's the main message here, things are connecting, and the clusters are really important bridges to do that. So summing up, the key messages are summarized here. I will not read them. I think there's a lot of opportunity, and given the distance and also the complexity maybe to understand the European and Indian side, sometimes I believe clusters are really key to make us benefit from the deepening ties of EU and India in the past years and decades. And given the profile that is quite complementary, I believe you will have a lot of opportunity to connect and make relevant business with the partners in India. So this is it from me. Thank you very much, and read the paper before you go.
Thank you very much, Jan, and I'll join you to encourage everyone to go through the paper and this information, because this is a really great chance to understand the markets and the potential partners, and how this could be expanded the collaboration, how to start collaborations and how to expand them, finding different bridges between the different ecosystems. So thank you very much, Jan, for joining us today and preparing the material. As said at the very beginning, this will be also available as a single document that could be downloaded from the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. You will have the link during the next 2 days after we also upload the recording. And now welcoming on the floor our partners from Invest India that are joining us for a second consecutive year. So we are really pleased to have Rohan and Sanit on the line today. Rohan, I mean directly to you, so to present as well as jointly with Sanit to make the presentation today. And then we will have you also on board during the actual event in India, Delhi. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Theodora, for the warm welcome. Good morning, everyone. I hope I am visible and audible. My name is Rohan, and it is wonderful to join this esteemed gathering here today on behalf of Invest India, the Government of India's National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency. Hoping to complement Dr. Kramer's presentation from earlier, my colleague Sanad and I will now take you on a quick high-level tour of how the government provides supportive framework for foreign direct investment, especially when you meet in India, and the role that we play in it. So as you can see on the slide, let's start with the macros. India is the world's fastest growing large economy and now the fourth largest by GDP. Most recently, the real GDP expanded by 6.5% in FY25, the highest among major economies. This isn't just a number either. Over the past decade, average real incomes have risen by 50%, creating large-scale purchasing power. But what really stands out is the trajectory. While the global economy grew by 35% in the last decade, India nearly doubled. And FDI inflows have also mirrored this momentum, growing by 119% in the same period, more than 90% of which has come through what we call the automatic route. This means that in most sectors, you don't need prior government approvals. You can invest directly, which speeds up timelines and also reduces uncertainty. So the message is clear. India today is a fast-growing, liberalized economy with rising consumer demand and predictable policy, making it not just a large market, but also a credible base for manufacturing and global integration, backed by the largest and youngest working age population anywhere in the world. So as you see on the slide here, this is not a happy accident either. It's the result of deliberate systematic reforms. For instance, take the production-linked incentives or the PLI scheme. Nearly $23 billion have been allocated across 14 key sectors, already creating over 850,000 jobs and boosting exports by almost 46 billion. So the premise here is simple. You set up or expand manufacturing in India, commit the investment, and get rewarded with direct cash incentives based on your incremental sales. The more you produce and sell from India, basically, the more you benefit. Secondly, India has committed over $11 billion in direct incentives for companies linked to employment generation. It supports you for 2 years and up to 4 for manufacturing, helping reduce hiring costs so you can ramp up operations quickly and sustainably. Third, nearly $17 billion is being channeled into innovation financing also through the Anusandhan National Research Foundation or ANRF and the Research, Development and Innovation Fund or RDIF. So these two programs co-fund R&D and anchor partnerships in deep tech, AI, biotech, clean energy and semiconductors, which brings private industry to the heart of India's research ecosystem now. And there are also forward-looking policies in other sectors preparing India for the future. To cite just 2 cases here, the Semicon mission with 8.7 billion in incentives, while the National Green Hydrogen mission with $2.3 billion allocated to it is positioning India as a global hub for clean energy. And on the digital side, the Open Network for Digital Commerce, or ONDC, allows you to plug in once and instantly reach customers across multiple platforms, which reduces dependence on single marketplaces. And this is also reinforced by the digital edge that India has. We rank first in global fintech adoption and also account for 46% of all real-time digital payments worldwide. And on trade and logistics, exporters also benefit from remission of duties and taxes for various schemes. while the PM Gati Shakti plan integrates about 16 ministries under a single master plan for multimodal connectivity, which means smoother infrastructure planning and fewer logistics bottlenecks. Kirava, can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, so on this map, you see a glimpse of what we call the National Industrial Corridor Program, which is industrial cities built to global standards, fully integrated with the PM Gati Shakti plan mentioned earlier, and also linking industrial clusters across different states. And also, let me stress what I've covered so far is only a brief, high-level overview of central government reforms. These are further complemented by the ecosystems and incentives of individual state governments, which together create a more comprehensive landscape for investors. And with that, it's the right time now to hand over to Sanad, who will explain how Invest India as the National Investment Facilitation Agency fits into this picture and supports you throughout the investor lifecycle. Sanad, the stage is yours.
Hello. Thank you, Ron. That was really helpful in terms of setting the stage for all our participants. What I would take you through is just a gist of what Invest India is. So we are an entity that comes under the Ministry of Industries and Commerce. Interestingly, we're very uniquely placed because our stakeholder shareholding is sort of divided between industry associations, all the state governments, and the union government. So in that sense, we have all the stakeholders covered, and we reach out to and we are connected with the entire ecosystem. And what we do is we act as an investment facilitation agency of the country. And any foreign companies wanting to invest in India, wanting to collaborate in India, in terms of setting up their manufacturing or they're setting up their units here, we sort of help them do so. All our services, this is for everyone to note that all our services are pro bono. We do not charge anything for any of our services. What we focus on is, trying to help with any business advisory, any support in terms of when you're making your strategic decisions in terms of which state in India you would want to go, or what sort of incentives can you avail, what sort of schemes are currently available, and so on. And also which states would be most ideal? Can we help you find the locations? Can we help you find the land parcels and so on? I understand here the clusters are represented by a mix of the various sectors. So would like to also emphasize that we are a sector agnostic body. We work with different departments and ministries on our side, and we support industries from across the different industries, sectors, domains to be able to help them ground here in India. Uh, Having said that, just could you go to the next slide? I just wanted to highlight one example to give you a gist of how we work and how we support all the companies. So, right from the entire investment facilitation value chain, right from initial connect to various stakeholder interactions, business case development, incentive comparisons, decisions on states, on land options, project announcement, and even aftercare support in terms of setting up the plant or landing the investment here. We support in the entire value chain of investment facilitation. Just to give you one example, and since I'm talking to a European audience here, we just took an example of a Swedish auto component company and how we helped them. So they were considering multiple sort of countries along with India in Asia and Southeast Asia, and then we were able to pitch a business case why India would be the ideal location, helping them understand what sort of structures would be available here for them to be able to make that business case to their leadership, helping them with building that market entry strategy, providing them with the adequate information and insights, location assessments if they've broadly decided which states, or if they could tell us sort of um, uh, what sort of broad parameters they're looking at. So if you tell us that we are looking at space near ports, we want so and so accessibility, we want to be based in a particular cluster, helping understand where the most clusters for your industries are based. And then eventually, when you make that decision, also working with the state governments, also to identify land parcels and then helping you secure that land parcel are all the activities that we also help this particular company with. And lastly, as I'd mentioned, in India, there could be different policies by governments, the state governments, and incentive structures, but we were able to help them guide them through different procedures and policies and incentives, and which is all put together, helped land the investment. Their first plant is already operational, the second is under construction. So that's just in a gist how we sort of help the companies. So in conclusion, what I would like to say is that because you represent different clusters from different countries in Europe, if there are any company in your cluster who are looking at potentially investing in India or potentially looking at internationalization options, this India might be on the radar, might not be on the radar, but if they're looking at such, we would like to make them the pitch for them to come to India. The ones who have already decided to come to India, if you can tell us what exactly where they're stuck, what exactly more information they want, we could we could help them do this. And that is why we thought that this introductory meeting would be great. So you get a perspective. We could also work with Theodora and GBI to see if we can share something in advance so that before you come, even before you come to India, if you have a list of certain companies in your clusters, in your respective clusters, who are looking at these India investments or India opportunities, and we know who they are, what exactly they want, we can then work with you to support them to make that decision. Uh, Recently, we also understand in certain emerging technology areas, a pure play FDI option might not be the best call. And in fact, I was in Europe few months back, and what we have also seen, a lot of European companies are also open to joint ventures. We would be happy to support that also. Of course, being a government entity, we would have certain limitations on setting up one-on-ones in terms of exploring India partners for these opportunities, but we could help in the process if you want to take that route to enter India. So tech collaborations, joint ventures are also some new modes that we are open to supporting if some of your companies want to explore those. So with that, I'll take a pause and sort of hand it back to Theodora. If there's any questions or anything, we can take it later. But if you want to reach out to us, you could write to europe@investindia.org. Rohan, my colleague, he's from the Europe team. I'm from the sector teams, and then we also have state teams who actually eventually help in landing the investments. So put together, we would always be happy to supporting you in your journey here in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And as we have been discussing over the last couple of months, we will also provide you with the detailed information of the interests and the sectorial focus of each of our EU participants, so you can have a more better prepared during while we will be in India. You will have obviously joint meetings, so you can already help, but thank you for sharing the email. They will have this information as well. And as you have advised, after talking to their members, SMEs, if there are concrete interests or questions, they can forward to you. So thank you very much for this presentation. And to the next part of this info session, we will hear the presentation of India IP SME Help Desk. And I'm pleased to give the floor to Girgana from the intellectual property. She's the actual intellectual property expert from the India IP SME Help Desk.
Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. Can you see my presentation and myself?
Yes, maybe you can go on full screen.
Let me see. Do you see the screen?
Let's send
now?
Theodora
Yes.
the IRGF form.
Okay.
And tell her that.
Rohan, can you please mute? Yes, thank you. Yes, great. Good.
Okay, so to tell you a little bit about the International IP Help Desks, this is an initiative of the European Commission, and these help desks provide first line, free of charge and confidential advice to European SMEs that are interested in several regions across the world. So apart from the India IP SME Help Desk, there are also 5 more, which cover most of the emerging or developing regions of the world, such as China, Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And we have a European IP Help Desk for any questions related to the European Union and member states here. So our core service is our helpline. This means you can contact us through phone, email, or a web form on our website with any questions that you might have about IP in India. But we also offer training such as and events like the one today that could be general of nature, but we also offer trainings that could be specifically adapted to your company. So if you're interested in training your employees, for example, on IP, specifically related to India, for example, you can contact us and we can organize something. We also have one-on-one sessions. You can book a meeting with one of our experts to discuss your particular case in more detail. And of course, we have a lot of materials on our website. I will leave you the links in the last slide, but we have a lot of materials in the format of fact sheets and recorded webinars, different tools, blogs, and so on. So you can explore our website for anything you might need. And just to mention again, we've put it here in caps that it's completely free of charge and it's completely confidential. So you can come to us with any problem that you have in terms of IP, and we'll be happy to help you. And it will stay between us like lawyer-client relationship. Now, it has already been mentioned that we've seen amazing growth in India in terms of economic growth. And of course, this has been reflected into the IP applications, both filed and granted during the last few years. So there's been a bit of an explosion in IP applications, the same, I think, that we saw, for example, in China 10, 15 years ago. In terms, from a legal point of view, the Indian IP system is pretty robust. It's also very similar to the IP systems that we have here in Europe. So there is nothing out of the ordinary when applying for a trademark or for a patent, with small exceptions and small differences, but it's very similar. And India is part of the 2 biggest international or most important international systems for patent registration and trademark registration that we will see in a second. But of course, it's still developing, emerging economy. So there are some risks in terms of IP. There are some risks of infringement, copying, plagiarism. So it's very important to be protected before going to India, and be careful when you share confidential information with potential partners or with your existing partners. This, of course, is relevant for any place in the world, but especially for India, it's very important to do. If you yourself are interested in applying for a patent or a trademark in India and you want to make a search, there are some free resources on the internet. You can do patent searches in the Indian government's patent search portal that I've put a link to. And of course, the World Intellectual Property Organization's IP portal, where you can find the patent search in called Patent Scope. There you can access patent information from across the world, not only India. The same is relevant for trademarks. You can access WIPO's global brand database. There is also another database on European level that is called TMView. It's also free. And you can also access trademark applications and registrations from across the world. And of course, you have the India's trademark office where you can look for trademarks specifically registered in India. This, of course, is probably relevant for some kind of a basic first search, just to have a general idea of what's going on if your trademark is free, or what people are patenting in India and so on. But of course, it's always recommended to count with the help of an IP lawyer specialized, especially if we're talking about patents, but trademarks as well. It's always better to talk to a patent attorney or a trademark attorney that can help you with a proper clearance search, so that you're sure you're free to operate, or you're free to file an application. Because once you file an IP application, doesn't matter what kind of application, and you find out that it's not going to be successful, the IP office will not give you the money back. So don't waste your money, excuse me, to file applications when you're without being sure that they have a high chance of success. As I mentioned, India is part of the international systems for IP registration, in particular for patents and trademarks. It's part of the so-called PCT, named after the Patent Cooperation Treaty, that is for patent registration on international level. Now, today we don't have time to go into detail about how these systems work, but the basic premise here is that you file one application and you can extend its protection or its registration to different countries or regions across the world. So as long as a country is part of either the PCT or the Madrid system, you can extend your protection to that country. In regards to the Madrid system, that refers to trademark registration, you have to have a basic application or registration. That means you have to have an application in your local IP office, either on national level or regional level, for example, a European Union trademark. But for PCT, you can start with a fresh application and file directly through the PCT system. India, as I mentioned, is party to both agreements, so you can definitely use these systems to extend your protection to India. But I must say that these systems are probably more relevant if you're interested in registering in more than 2, 3, 4 countries at the same time, because if you're only interested in registering in India, it will probably be much cheaper to do it, although you obviously need a local lawyer, local Indian lawyer, who can assist you and file the applications for you. And finally, maybe the most significant difference between the European and Indian system in terms of patents especially is that India provides a 12-month grace period in terms of patents. So if you're aware of how patents work, you basically need 3 steps. The most important step probably is the novelty. So in order to be able to file a patent, it has to be absolutely new on a global level. So you can't disclose it. If you disclose it somewhere, you might lose this novelty and you might not be able to patent your invention. That's why I mentioned it's always extremely important to keep your invention secret until you file your patent. And here India provides a 12-month grace period, meaning that if you disclose, show your invention in a government exhibition, it will not count as actual disclosure, and they give you a 12-month grace period in which you can file your patent application. However, this does not exist in Europe. So in Europe, there are some limited grace periods in some countries, for example, but they're, I think, never 12 months, maybe maximum 6 months, and they're very limited as well. So be careful and just be on the safe side and don't disclose your inventions. Don't share them without non-disclosure agreements when you share them in a more private setting before you file your patent application, because you can lose the novelty and not be able to register your patent. And again, to repeat once again, it is extremely important to have either non-disclosure agreements in place with your Indian partners, potential or existing partners, or very strong NDA clauses in your contracts when you sign a contract with your partners. And finally, of course, you have this presentation shared with you, so you can access all of the IP help desks. And you also have our specific contact details. So feel free to email us or call us or book a meeting with one of our experts. And I think I went a little bit over my time, but I did my best. Thank you, everyone. I am at your disposal for any questions you might have through the chat, or of course you can email us after that.
Thank you very much, Gergana, for this presentation. And of course, the details will be shared, and we are very glad that we are having this input throughout the webinars that are part of the preparation of the delegation for their visit. But also, if there is, as you said, if there is some special concrete interest or question, the participants, our EU delegates, would be able to contact you directly. So thank you very much once again for being part of this info webinar. And we continue further with the presentation of the Anchor Expo, which is the RE Expo. We are very pleased of being partnering well and discussing over the last few months the opportunities, how we better to engage with the RE Expo, with colleagues from the Informal Markets India. So I'm giving directly, pressed by the time, the floor to Julian Thomas for the presentation. Julian, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Theodora. I think it's a wonderful job of bringing everybody together. I think it's a very informative session. I have learned a lot. And good morning, everyone. This is Julian from Chennai, India. Specifically, I want to thank ECCP for taking away this initiative and making it happen on behalf of Informa Markets and the entire REA Expo team. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all for the wonderful delegation to Renewable Energy India Expo. We have done this activity multiple times. We are very, very happy to be part of this delegation to bring the industry together. And with this, let me share my screen. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So I take care of the renewable energy and battery technology industry, specifically for Informa Markets in India through exhibitions. So we are doing all this entire activity, and the delegation is heading towards the 18th Renewable Energy India Expo, which is from 31st of October and 1st of November. Let me give a quick update and fact sheet that will give you much more interest. I think apart from sharing all the friendly schemes and offerings what India is giving for the international regions. Specifically, right now, India is considered as one of the top potential buyer market. Looking at the volumes, India is chasing a 500 gigawatt of non-fossil energy capacity And the most important is that if you check the fact sheet, we have already crossed 50% of the installation capacity. And we are very, very confident with many initiatives India will achieve and cross the given target of 2030. And a lot of collaboration, a lot of international support. We are talking to Europe on various things. India, Europe is getting very closer on various trade friendly option. All this are going to make India a much more greener nation with a 500 gigawatt plus of installation by 2030, which is a massive opportunity for any country to work with India. And second is, again, our commitment on going net zero by 2070. There's a lot of initiatives that have happened in terms of distributed solar. It's not only about utility level, it is also about getting the solar installation, bio installation, much more closer, much more to the grassroots level. Our president, our prime minister, has launched a scheme called PM Suryagar, which will support with a subsidiary to install and solarize 10 million residential rooftop. Out of which 2 million has already been installed. People are enjoying the benefit of solar energy, which is a huge opportunity for all the residential, specifically residential, who can take the benefit of solar energy. The most important super achievement what India has done is the PM Kusum scheme, specifically to work with the farmers. We are able to be very, very successful in terms of supplying solar pumps to multi-thousands of people, which has brought solarization onto the agriculture industry. It has taken away the diesel out of their daily usage. That has brought in a lot of clean mechanism. CO2 emission has been under huge control. So which all has been a great initiative which has changed the atmosphere of India. And from the landscape point of view, we are the third largest consumer of electricity. And we are consuming, our growth of consuming of electricity is increasing year by year because of a lot of growth in industrialization, great work by people like ECCP or people like Invest India. Everybody is bringing a lot of international collaboration. There is huge amount of industry starting operations in India, which are majorly addressed by the usage of renewable energy. Also, there is huge amount of technology revamp, grid stability, and the technologies which are used to produce the power from solar, which has also shown a great increase. Apart from that, the battery storage sector has taken a huge amount of growth opportunity. So the REI Expo has informed what we are doing in end of October. We are doing Renewable Energy India Expo co-located with the Battery Show India. It's not only about power generation, it is also about power storage. And we also covering the battery for mobility a lot because our interest is also specifically to support the mobility industry, electric vehicle industry. So Informa is also the organizer of the battery show, which happens in North America and Stuttgart. So the same event happens in India, co-located with REI. So there is an opportunity not only for the delegates who are dealing with the renewable energy solution. If you are also looking at beyond renewable energy, looking at storage as a solution, IoT as a solution, better utilization as utility as a solution, this is the very right decision you have made. And we are making every possible opportunity for you to explore the event, make it much more successful. Just a quick fact sheet about the event. This is the exhibition venue, one of the largest venue in India. And what we are doing right now is that in terms of dates, I've already given you the dates. In terms of scale, which is very important for you to know, more than 1,000 plus exhibitors are part of the REI and the battery show. Our Renewable Energy India Expo alone is going to be in 10 exhibition halls, which also has a bioenergy as a solution. And the battery show, which covers mobility, raw material, equipment manufacturing, to energy storage solution, We are covering it in 4 halls, which is the third battery show India. Apart from this, we also doing the energy storage summit specifically for utility level. Many of them are aware of the energy storage summit, which happens in UK, Germany, and Australia, hosted by the Solar Media team, which is also part of Informa. So considering the huge demand of utility level requirement, we are bringing and stitching the utility level energy storage solution also this year at the REI show. Major exhibit profiles covers the entire solar element, covers entire bio element, covers entire energy storage element, including the solutions required for EPC and IPP. And the major decision makers comes from state governments, project developers, EPCs. So it's going to be a conference supported event with 6 tracks, and we have a very active session which is going to get hosted with the support of ECCP. And this is a quick plan. Maybe the final agenda will come from Theodora and team. All we are saying is on the 30th of October, we invite you to be there by around 10 a.m. at the VIP launch so that we can welcome you, network with the other VIPs, and then followed by the inauguration where we are planning a very specific highlight so that this delegation can be well noticed by the industry so that your success rate of coming all the way will increase, be part of the inaugural session, followed by a very specialized event on Europe calling partner with EU Green Industry Delegation for Innovation and Business. We are hosting at the Evergreen Hall, which will also be a great event for the delegates and the Indian counterparts, including the associations, including the various bodies, can also take advantage and network with the delegates, followed by a lunch with the other delegates. So that will bring in much more a larger picture for you to interact with the other conferences, because we have 6 conferences happening at the same time. It brings you 300, 400 plus delegates. So that will give you an opportunity to network with delegates. And afternoon, the team will guide you with the floor visit, make all your opportunities to network. There is going to be a lot of pre-planned work, which will be supported by the delegation hosting team. So you can take advantage of the exhibitors, and that's going to be a very packed evening. So you need to also enjoy some Indian music, Indian food, as well as some more CXO networking. We are also making a complete arrangement for the delegation to be part of the industry networking evening, which is expected to have more than 400 people for the networking evening. So that's another huge opportunity. And also you can enjoy some lighter movement with us. It's going to be nice music and Indian food. So that will give you a touch to enjoy the Indian culture as well as Indian food. Just to highlight, we are trying to ensure that the delegation has the opportunity to touch point everything. There is going to be a CEO conclave. That could be some kind of a special invitation for a few of them. There's going to be a floor walk, being part of the inauguration, being part of the conference, being part of the business meeting. We also have a live demo of installers. More than 300 plus installers are showcasing live installation. It will be a good opportunity to see that installation and understand how fast India is making the progress on C&I and residential. So these are the activities which I want to highlight. So thank you so much for making all this effort and selecting India as your destination for doing business. And we are very strong in every possible fact sheets, every possible growth rates. I think the decision made by the team, the decision made by the delegates is very right. We are all eagerly waiting as a REI team to welcome you, the EU Green Industry Delegation. If you require any more information about REI, either you can connect with the hosting team or you can connect with me so that we can try and support you and ensure that your visit to India is gives you more success. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Theodora and team. I'm sure this delegation is going to bring in great value, not only to India, it's going to create a huge partnership to Europe overall. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Julian. And yes, it's clear from the presentation that you're building a very busy event area. So it would be hard for people to even take the best out of it, even for staying for 1 week. And we have to try to maximize the things in 1 day. But thank you very much for the opportunity.
I just want to say only one thing which I avoided saying. I don't want to scare. We are expecting 60,000 visitors in 3 days' time. I know it is going to be a huge number from a Euro perspective, but it's not only going to be a large event. You are all coming after Diwali, so it's going to be a celebration of light. So you can carry some nice colorful dress. It's going to be a huge celebration in India. You're making a very, very right time in India.
This is really glad to hear. So it is, we are very much looking forward to be on the spot and take the best out of any opportunity. We see that from your presentation, the European participants seen that we are trying really to maximize the presence while we are during the day at the expo, having starting from the already the opening ceremony, then there is a concrete session which is designed for the EU delegation, which is part of the seminar program, where we will be having an opportunity, each organization to present themselves. Also after that to have meetings created based on these introductions, and of course all these networking opportunities, the different stand visits, and of course we will also share the seminar program, so each participant can choose which track or which stand or which session to be able to listen and to participate in. We will that because we are a bit short in time. I'll just be very quick in presenting the next steps. So this is about the EU delegates. So the hotel options have been shared with you. The time the deadline passed for the reservations. We know that most of you have made your reservations. In case someone has missed, please come back to us and we'll try to see any chance with our partners that were handling the reservation process. About visas, we have also made a signal within the communication that please check each participant to check what are the requirements for e-visa. If you need letter, let us know. So the colleagues from GBI be able to have to support these visa letters that you need. I know that some have already requested. Some also have been shared recently during the last day in the email. So we will proceed as quick as possible with this information. We would certainly need details from your passports for these letters, but we will get back personally to all these requests. And don't leave it for the last minute, because sometimes it's taking longer and could be requested the visa 1 month prior the event. Please take a note for the technical webinar, which will take place on the 14th of October between 9 and 10 Central European time. During the technical webinars, the webinar, as some may know, we'll give the final details for the event, as well as also will be an opportunity to learn about B2Match. And during this webinar, also the partners from GBI will invite the local participants. So this is also a chance you through the chat box to introduce to each other and already see who would be part of the event. Your profiles in B2Match will be activated around that time. So after the technical webinar, you would already start requesting meetings and updating the different sections of your profile in order to create the environment for meetings, demands, and offers. We will send you, of course, the link for the expos. Check the exhibitors, because you've seen it's a huge, huge event, many halls. So it is very important to plan your time at the afternoon hours at the event in order to maximize the time spending there, as it is very difficult even to even if you are 3 days at the event, it would be very difficult to meet with everyone that you would like to meet. Therefore, it is important to plan well and with care the stands that you would like to visit. For the pitching session, as you've seen, we will have the presentation in frame of the Expo. For this session, we will send you instructions how to prepare and what materials we would need from you. So please check the emails and follow the deadlines being given in the emails. With that, we come to the end of this webinar. It's a bit over the time we planned initially. I would suggest maybe you can go through the details, the recording, the materials that have been set, and together with the draft program that we will be sharing with you, to come back with us with any possible questions, or if you have concrete questions related to the information that have been shared today, to connect with the respective parties. Once again, I would like to thank all the participants of this webinar, all partners that have dedicated time and to present, but also that have been working and are working very, very hard to bring this mission to a huge success. So thank you very much once again to all being with me here on the virtual floor, and thank to all participants that listened and that will dedicate time to prepare. We are very much looking forward to a successful mission in India. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Theodora. We look forward to welcoming you here.
Looking forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Theodora.